Welcome to an edition of ATL Prime Sports here in hot Atlanta, Georgia, living up to its famous name today. 98 degrees outside right now. Going to stay 90s for the rest of the week. That's your Atlanta weather forecast. I'm Todd Corder. Our producer, Wayne, is in Memphis, Tennessee. JJ is off tonight. On the other side of the ATL, and our special guest tonight is Patti Parks Rooney. She's a feature writer for the Rebel Walk, and you can get a hold of Patti at Patti2471 on Twitter or at the Rebel Walk on Twitter. You can reach all of us at ATL Prime Sports, myself at Corder Todd, Corder Todd, and Wayne at RWY Jr. Before we bring Patti on, Wayne, how are you, man? It's been a while, my brother.
Yeah, well, I'm doing much better now that Texas won 2 against the Phillies, and I was surprised John Gray pitched as well as he did, because I think his ERA is around 12. No, it's not that bad, but it's almost 5, and that's really high. But if he keeps winning games, I don't care how many runs the other team scores, right?
That's right. And you know what? Oklahoma, they're in the finals, the College World Series finals. They get a chance, as we shift over to college sports, to do what the Oklahoma women's softball team did, which is win a national championship. And if they do, they'll be the first school to win it in men's baseball and women's softball in the same season. And, OU, they were spectacular today. They were a team that was they were under 500 last year, and what a turnaround as they make the finals and they defeat Texas A&M today. And I'll say it for our guest, Ole Miss Maha, or Old Maha, or whatever it is they say in Mississippi. So we'll go ahead and go with that for our guest. Wayne, before we get to our guest, tell us how everybody can listen to the show.
Well, we're going to be on YouTube, but also on Spotify. You just look up ATL Prime Sports on Spotify. There'll be a link in the description. And, JJ's in charge of that. And that should be posted up tonight. And the video will be up tomorrow morning.
All right. You also can watch it on Twitter and YouTube, right? YouTube, correct?
Yes, that's the first thing I mentioned.
All right. Say I'm on the blink. I'm telling you. So anyway, let's bring our guest in, Patti Parks Rooney, a feature writer for the Rebel Walk. Once again, you can get a hold of her at PATTI2471, or you can get a hold of her at the Rebel Walk. And Patti, you don't even have it on your Twitter account as we introduce you that you're a feature writer for the Rebel Walk. I was surprised. But I also want to say, tell David I said hello. Tell Edie I said hello. And tell the former Miss Kentucky I said hello, because that's what I call her, the former Miss Kentucky. So how you doing, Patti? I'm so glad to get you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. You know what I'm doing? What do you think I'm doing? I'm sitting right here in front of this TV watching this game. We're just all so busy right now, with every recruiting still going on, with Leanne stays so busy with that. Evie's doing podcasts today. I'm doing this. David, we're just we've got, 2 guys. We've got Chris and Austin are out in Omaha, covering, the series. And so we are just going 90-0, but having an absolute ball and blast doing it.
Well, speaking of a ball, Ole Miss is having a ball. If they win tonight, if they defeat Arkansas, they're going to the finals, and it'll be a best-of-3 between them and Oklahoma. If they lose tonight, then the winner-take-all game will be tomorrow between
tomorrow. I think Ole tomorrow. Miss I think it's 3 Central. I think, isn't it?
I'll have to look at that. I don't know what the time is tomorrow. I would imagine they would put it in prime time at 7 o'clock.
No, I do not think so. I think tomorrow will be in the afternoon, from what I understand, because I was thinking I'll have to bring a TV to work.
Well, you know what? I haven't made it that far. I'm confident Ole Miss was my pick to win this tournament in the finals against Notre Dame, as was yours. Sorry, Wayne, you're an Auburn guy. Neither one of us picked Auburn, but that's okay. So, you know, when you look at the domination of this conference, Patti, the SEC, they've had a team in the College World Series final 12 of the past 13 seasons. Now it'll be 13 of 14, and 3 times each we've had an all SEC final. And of course, you know, LSU, I mean, or Ole Miss, what a story this year, because they've won 7 in a row. They're 39 and 22 overall. They finished 14 and 16 in the SEC, 5th in the West, and this is the second World Series appearance for Ole Miss, the first one since 2014. What a turnaround, because they come off losing 2 out of 3 to Texas A&M, and they lost in the first round to Vandy in the SEC tournament. What is their biggest reason, before we go into what you do for the Rebel Walk and you do feature things for Ole Miss and all their sports? What's the biggest key to Ole Miss's turnaround?
You know, I think that we see it happen. I've seen it happen not just once, but a couple of times with our baseball team. We seem to come out and be really, really hot, and people get us all pumped up. And it's always like, okay, we got it this year, we got it this year, we got it this year. And we play well, right? And then it's like we get hit, we get sucker punched. I feel like our team gets sucker punched. We lose a couple of games, and it's like mojo, right? I mean, I feel so bad for our guys. Go ahead.
I mean, it's a game of streaks, and head coach Mike Bianco, who played at LSU for legendary head coach Skip Bertman. He's a catcher. His record at Ole Miss is 854, 484 for a 638 winning percentage, you know, and 954 wins in his career if you include his, coaching at NC State. So, you know, he's done a really great job, Patti, in turning this team around as a former catcher. And what can you tell me? Tell me some stories about the ball club, what you know. I know you do a lot of featured stories. I know you can tell me about the legendary stadium there and some of its traditions. Tell me about that.
I mean, we do beer showers. Beer's the best, you know, and you know, we're known for our homers. If somebody hits a homer, our beer's going up. And, you know, we have our kids, our students, first home game, they're lined up the day before, sitting in chairs waiting to get in, and you know, the players bring them donuts for breakfast. It's just special, and I know everybody says that, but it's just special for us. And to see, I was at the game last year when Elko came back from his ATL, and to see him hit the ball like he did, you know, it just, they feel like your own. You really feel like Ole Miss to me is just small enough and just big enough, and the community of Oxford is just small enough and just large enough to where you feel like they're your own. You really feel like they are a part of your family, your community, and you care, and we care deeply about them. And it's tough for us, for most of us who are locals, who have been here. My parents have been here 15, 20 years now since retiring. It's really tough to watch people get so frustrated with Coach when he's had such a successful record. And so it's really also very, very exciting to see him be where he is, where they are now.
Hey, Patti, I want to stop you there because, you know, Coach Bianco a few weeks ago, before the tournament, there was rumors that he wouldn't end up, you know, coming back to Ole Miss next year. And now with this run, there's no question he'll come back. And you know, what a special job he's done. The second World Series appearance for Ole Miss. You mentioned why it's a special place. It's a small net community, just big enough, and yet everyone kind of knows everyone. And you mentioned Tim Elko, is that the ball player that you mentioned that had the injury that came back, and he's hitting 299 this year with 23 homers and 74 RBIs. That's a magnificent story for Old Miss baseball, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we call him the captain, and it's just out of control. He just is. He doesn't. There's no quit in the captain. I mean, and he rallies our guys around, and he's the guy, and everyone knows it. And when he decided to come back this season, everything changed. It was a new ball game. So to speak, we were so excited, and when that happened, it just changed everything. And I think there's no doubt. I mean, it has such a huge bearing on this season. And I'll tell you something else. Elko and Graham are best friends, and he lives with Bench and Graham. And when Elko's parents couldn't be here for senior day, Graham and Bench stood out there with him. They're all very, very close. It's just a very, very tightly knit, close team. I think, and I'll be honest, I think COVID, 2020, that season played a big part in that, because we were so ready to break out that year, and we did not. We were on such a roll with that season, and then all of a sudden, here you go, you're out, right? And I think
it happened in Arkansas a year ago, and they're trying to make it right against Ole Miss now. And you mentioned Kevin Graham. I'm glad you mentioned him. 11 homers, 49 RBIs, hitting 343 this year. You mentioned Justin Bench, 314, leading the team in hits with 75. And another player to mention, if I may, is Calvin Harris, leading the team with a 347 batting average. This is a special group of kids, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I don't, you just don't see any jealousy, any different. All you see is team, and you see friendship, and you see, with Peyton, stealing all those bases. Then you had T.J. McCants at the Super Regional in Hattiesburg with that home run at the very end. Amazing. It's just their time. I just believe it's their time, and nobody deserves it more than these kids.
Well, I tell you what, Patti, next year, I think all of us at ATL Prime Sports, if we can get JJ away, I want to say congratulations to JJ and his family, because his wife is again pregnant. They're going to have another daughter. So if we can get him away from his new, which will be 2-year-old, and the daughter next year, and Wayne lives in Memphis, so he's not far away. We all need to make a trip out to Ole Miss, meet you and the Rebel Walk gang next year. I'll bring my wife, and we'll sit out in right field and get a beer shower.
We can absolutely do that. And now that Chance, is playing for the Titans, I'm going to make the trip up to Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wayne's not a Titans fan, but he's a Falcons fan. But still, that's local, and that's a good story for him and his region of the country. You mentioned about Elko, and is his story kind of similar to what the Ole Miss quarterback story was during football for Lane Kiffin and all that? And what a good story he was this year too.
It's an absolutely great story. You compare the Tennessee players. I'm sure you've seen it. All the comparisons of Elko and the Tennessee players. He is such an amazing, such an amazing Christian, and such a testament to Christ. And he gives it to God, gives it to all God. He gives God the glory. Every hit, every, his gifts all come from God, and he is so ready to tell anyone. And so, so many people just respect him so much for that. And I think that's one of the reasons that he's able to, that we've seen such a shift this season in our baseball. It's become fun again. It's become, it's bring the family, bring the kids, which I think that's just part of what baseball should be. I don't want to bash anybody except the Vandy Whistler. But it's just, I think it's just it's supposed to be a fun family sport. And I feel like that's what it's been this year. Everybody has been able to enjoy it, and there was a stretch where we were,
Oh, I was going to say, Patty, I like how you mentioned that it is a fun-filled sport, and it's a game that really needs to be played, as Joe Torre would say, the great manager of the Yankees, without a lot of tension. And when I watched Tennessee play and they got upset by Notre Dame, and we'll get back to what you were talking about in a minute, I could see the tension from the Tennessee dugout, and I really believe there was tension out on the field. You saw the players and their actions, and it kind of it really ruined, to me, the great season that the Tennessee baseball program had, all in that 3-game series, that pressure cooker in the Super Regional against Notre Dame, where the Irish won 2 out of 3. They were the team that was, loose and free. Tennessee was tight. Calls went against them. The manager got ejected. The pitching coach got ejected. Two of the players got ejected. And when that happens, that just turns the tide and puts a lot of pressure on your ball club. You mentioned that Ole Miss is a free, loose team. And, winning 7 in a row in the NCAA tournament can do that. Let's shift over and talk about, if I may, about some of your features, your articles, and your stories that you've done for the Rebel Walk. Tell us about some of them.
You know what I do? When Evie started the Rebel Walk, she wanted it to be a mix, I think, of, obviously the news, the stories, the games, the plays. But then I think she also liked it. She wanted it to be kind of, about the players, about, the people, about the fans. And I think we had gotten so busy with all the games and all the, there was just no human interest side of it. It was very difficult to find time to do everything that she wanted to do. And so just a tiny bit of what I've been able to do every once in a while. In the fall, what I do is I'm kind of like a little roaming reporter, and I'll go take pictures of tents and players and their families and fans and what they're wearing and what they're eating and what they're doing. And I'll write articles and post all those pictures and do stuff like that.
So that's not a bad gig, hanging out there in the Grove before a football game, huh?
It's not. I got, when ESPN came, I got to kind of hang out with them and, that kind of fun stuff. And so then, I'll write something when I wrote an article about how I came to love football and how my dad influenced me. For Easter, we did an article. I did an article. I called Mark, the women's tennis coach, and we got the women's tennis team to get pictures of their mother or mother role, whomever that would be. And then we got stories and comments from each of the girls' women's tennis players, and we wrote an article on that, right? So it's just making things a little bit more personal, so you feel like you're getting to know the players, who they really are, where they come from, what their likes are. Not just, hey, you know what, this stat, and this stat. Because it's not just about the stats. It's about who they are as human beings as well.
Tell me about the statue out there. You wanted to talk about that.
Oh, I want him to build a statue for Elko. That's what we wanted to do.
I apologize. It's my bad. I thought, what did you want them to build a statue? I thought they did build one.
That we have been talking about building a statue for Elko because he's just such an amazing guy. Is what we've been
what
saying.
about the you think they're going to do one there? I know they've got Manning Way, and there's a speed limit of 18 miles an hour, and then you had Archie Manning get pulled over by the police officer going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, and Archie said to Eli, "That's the quickest you've ever moved," or something like that. It was hysterical.
That's the quickest you've ever been on your feet. Was that not hysterical?
Yes, it was.
I love it, and I love that they want. I love that they want a sports Emmy. I mean, the show, their show is fantastic. I absolutely love it. I think that they're great kids. I think Cooper's a great kid. I think that I've loved seeing them develop even more talent after they've left the game of football. Obviously, Eli still got his role with the Giants, but just love seeing them have fun and seeing them with Archie and Archie enjoying it as well.
Hey, speaking of Archie, is Archie's grandson, Arch Manning, coming to Ole Miss?
Who knows?
I agree.
I don't know what he's going to do. And, I think at the end of the day, and I really, truly believe this, I believe his family just wants him to be happy. I think they wanted that for their son, and I think they want that for him too. I think that's really what they want. And as long as he is content and happy with his decision, they'll support whatever that kid wants to do.
Yeah. I got an idea. I've got an idea for Arch Manning. His uncles, both Eli and Peyton, never beat the University of Memphis. And since they can't beat them, I think they should join them, and Arch Manning should come on up here to Memphis and become a Tiger.
Oh, Patti, did you hear that? Did you hear that? You hear that nonsense?
I can't even catch my breath to say anything about that.
That's all right. Listen, while you're catching your breath, we'll take care of Mississippi State again next year in football, all right?
That's exactly what. Hey, we take care of them ourselves. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's called
two losses never hurt anybody.
We have the trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They call that
Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl. The Egg Bowl. Absolutely. The Egg Bowl. Yes, I'm sorry, Patti. I met David Walker last year. I didn't get a chance to meet Evie, even though she was in the Mercedes-Benz Atlanta, but she was working. David was working, but we were sitting next to each other watching Ole Miss beat Louisville. And, got to know David really great. I wish you could have came along with Leanne, who I call Miss Kentucky.
Yeah, I remember that was the first game. That was when we were just getting – what a season that was, too. I mean, give credit where it's due. What a season that was.
It was. And Lane Kiffin, good recruiting class, went into the transfer portal and seemed to buff up that Ole Miss roster. And the East will be really, really spectacular. Now, baseball is so big at Ole Miss. If I can shift gears, I saw Leanne Toohey tweeting today on Twitter. She thinks that Ole Miss is going to bring it home.
Oh, and how adorable. I love her. I love her. I mean,
have you met her? Have you met her?
I have not. No, I am. I shouldn't say this, but I think that University of Central Florida. I think that is a good school, and I think didn't her son have something to do? Did he go there or work there or something? I think.
I know he went to work for some university. I just don't know who it is, but I know the Tooheys and the movie there. The Blind Side. With the kid coming to Ole Miss, and then
what an amazing movie.
Right,
I'm
it
like,
is, and I saw
I'm
into
like
tweeting,
Leanne
and I,
Tui. I wouldn't wear
wow.
that salty orange if I had to. But
Me.
that I think you know, and that's where that is where Plumlee ended up going to school. Well, I've got a couple of friends that have children that go there, and really, I think it's a pretty decent school. They seem to like it, and so anyway, I've always thought that she just was just a very kind person. She always posts a lot of, you know, inspirational things and things that really just can help people. And I work in mental health full time. And so that
Right.
really is important to me. And I really appreciate the people that take time out to post things like that when they don't have to. I like that a lot.
Well, she surely took the time and made Michael Orr's life a tremendous one, because Michael Orr went on from Ole Miss and went to play for the Baltimore Ravens, and he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, sure
Yeah.
I
did.
mean, that's a fantastic story. I'm sorry, Wayne.
I was going to say, Todd, I'll give you $2. You can tell me where Michael Orr is from.
Memphis.
You
He'd
got it,
have to be
bro.
from Memphis, wouldn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting that $2 in the mail, but if we do come to Ole Miss next year, Wayne can buy me an adult beverage
All
there
right.
at the stadium. Will be even, because I know they sell beer,
Stadium.
because beer's coming down from right field.
Right.
Let's take him
I've got
to
to come.
let's take him to Huey's.
Yeah.
Let's
Huey's.
take him to Huey's, yeah.
Huey's. There's all kinds of barbecue places up here. We'll hit one each night and send him home about 50 pounds heavier.
Exactly, my friend. Exactly.
Well,
Yep.
Patti, thanks so much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime. We'll have to have the whole walk crew on, all four of you at the same time.
Well, that'd be a blast. Nobody, you couldn't get an edge. Poor old Wayne definitely wouldn't get a word in edgewise, but we would love it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for all your support for us. We, you know, like I said, we love what we do.
You know, I'm glad
we love
that Wayne is the producer, so, you know, he can cut in whenever he wants. I give him free will. So,
or he can
you know,
cut us all out.
What's that?
Or he can just cut us all out. Exactly.
Yeah, Wayne, you want to cut us all out now? You got something to say?
No.
No? See,
I'll do some clever editing and make everybody look good.
hey,
I like Wayne. Wayne's my new BFF.
Yeah.
oh, well, Patti, it was a pleasure. God bless you, and thanks for joining us. And we'll talk to you sometime down the line. And remember, you can get a hold of Patti on Twitter at PATTI 2471 or at the Rebel Walk.
12471, yeah.
What's that?
PATTI 124. PATTI 12471.
Oh, it shows 2471 at 2471 on Twitter.
Well, it might. Heck, I don't know. Maybe I don't even know what my own handle is.
You got to put on your Twitter handle there about, you know, your work for the Rebel Walk in terms of, you know, feature writer and all that. People got to get to know that. You can't keep this incognito. Patti, take care. Have a great evening, and thanks for joining us.
Patty, go Omaha.
Go Omaha for you. Hey, you made Wayne blush there since he's an Auburn guy. Hey, we'll talk to you soon. You take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye. That was Patti Parks Rooney, feature writer for the Rebel Walk here on ATL Prime Sports. Todd Corder with you, along with Wayne, our producer from Memphis, Tennessee. And Wayne, that was an interesting interview. She talked about the great season and the great comeback from Tim Elko, a special player for Ole Miss, and they're about ready to have they could have a special, well, they've already had a special season, but they could have a spectacular ending.
Yep, definitely.
They got a shot. You believe it, though, the SEC is just, it's dominant as it is in baseball, as it is in football, except the SEC West. I mean, there's 4 teams left, 3 of them from the West, and Oklahoma's coming over to the SEC. But you know what? I'll believe that when I see it that Oklahoma and Texas come to the SEC. I still don't believe it until they get there, and I have a feeling they're not going to end up in the SEC. That's probably not a popular opinion, but that's mine. Do you think they'll get over there?
Yeah, I think they'll get over there. But on a side note, I wouldn't be surprised if the SEC dominated it in intramural sports. Their probably bowling team is probably number one in the nation.
It could be. It's not in hockey. They don't dominate in that. I'll
Yeah.
have to we'll have to knock off one sport there. You want to talk some golf between the PGA and LIV tour?
Listen, I got an idea about that. I'll let you
Go
talk your
ahead,
piece,
talk.
and then well, the USG is really the overall governing body of golf. The PGA is just part of it, and they sanction a lot of tournaments and stuff. I would not be surprised if somehow the USGA were to step in and say, why don't we have two different leagues, LIV, PGA, and then at the end of whatever season have like a three round playoff or something between the two and see which one's the overall champion, similar to the way baseball and NFL does.
That's a hell of an idea. You know what? You transition to my point coming up very well. When the NFL and the and what was it, the AFC and the NFC, right, when they merged and they became one,
right?
This could happen to the PGA and the LIV. They could become one league eventually down the line because there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of golfers, a lot of big names that have moved over from the PGA to the LIV. They're taking the money. People are calling them hypocrites, but they're going, wait a minute. The PGA's in business with other folks from other countries and,
right,
and China, whatever, and et cetera. So, if you're calling us hypocrites, you're hypocrites too. And look, everyone's getting a chance to better his or her family, and everybody needs to go ahead and climb aboard because this is going to happen, and it's going to stay this way for a while, and eventually they just may eventually merge. What do you think?
Well,
it's just
like I said, I think the USGA is going to be the one that's going to probably have to either let those two sort it out or they're going to sort it out for them. And the interesting thing about the USGA is practically anybody can join.
It's true. And I tell you, the money that they're throwing at these golfers, they're already making a ton. But this is life-changing money where they don't even have to win a tournament to get paid. And the PGA, you are paid literally by your performance, like any other job here in America. We're there, you're given the money no matter how well you play.
Yeah.
What an opportunity for these people. And Phil Mickelson took a public relations beating that I thought wasn't fair in certain ways, and maybe it was fair in others.
Well, if you were to remove politics from the entire equation, it would come down to money. And I think that's probably what is on everybody's mind as far as which one they're going to go with.
You're right. It is what JJ and I always say it all the time. It is about the money. Show me the money. And you know what? The Saudis are showing our American golfers the money. And you know what? They're taking it. Big names. Tiger Woods already turned it down. Let's see if he continues to turn it down, because it won't be the only time they ask him. I can tell you that. There's no way. Let's shift sports. We'll stay. We did Ole Miss baseball. Let's go to Major League Baseball. The Atlanta Braves. Let's see. They're 5 games behind the net. What's that?
I think they're down right now.
Are they? Well, thank you
for they're playing San Francisco.
Okay, that's correct. The Giants. 5 games behind the Mets. 4 the most, in the loss column. They lost this afternoon to the Houston Astros, so it's 4 in the loss column. But, when I look at this ball club, they're 39-30, second in the East. They went on that 14-game winning streak after Brian Snicker had the meeting, the quote-unquote team meeting to turn the club around. And to be honest with you, he didn't go in there and start throwing chairs like they did back in the old days, start yelling and cussing and screaming and etc. He's had a calm talk with the ball club, probably was a little bit stern. Probably things were said that any of us will ever know, which is perfectly fine. It's allowed. I believe the sanctity of a clubhouse, whatever sport it is, I believe in it. What's in the clubhouse should stay in the clubhouse. And those are the clubs that, to me, are the most successful in terms of managing their clubhouse. And whatever was said, it helped them. But, let's be honest. They just started playing better. It's about the players, Wayne. And when I look at this streak, Ozzie Albies, he's out with a fractured left foot. He's on a 60-day IL. Orlando Arcia came in, and he's been spectacular. 333, 3 homers, 13 RBIs this season. Filling in for Ozzie. That's one of the reasons why the Braves have been successful. He's playing second base, but he can play short. He can move around. Another reason is the play of Michael Harris in center field. This kid reminds me a lot of Andrew Jones. He's not built like Andrew Jones, but he can play defense like Andrew Jones, hitting 345, 3 homers, 13 RBIs, in 23 games played, 2 stolen bases. Great defense in center field, making diving catches. Acuna can play right. And speaking of Acuna, in 40 games since he's came back with 7 homers, 18 RBIs, 12 stolen bases. And then you've got Duvall in left. And, when they start getting healthy players back, the Braves, what are they going to do with that outfield? Somebody's going to be left out down the line. And I have no clue who it is, and if anybody else does, they're lying to you. So, this is a good problem for Atlanta to have. It's a great problem. It just is. This is a team that is playing really well. Dansby Swanson, almost 300 with 9 homers, 37 RBIs, cut down tremendously on the strikeouts. And, of course, the ace, Max Fried, having a sensational season when you've got an ace and when you've got pitching, and Atlanta has it. They were way down to the Mets. They cut that big lead in half. And, this race, to me, the East comes down to whether Scherzer and DeGrom can pitch enough for New York and stay healthy. If they do, maybe the Mets win it. But if they don't, I think Atlanta catches them. And the Phillies are only 3 games behind Atlanta now. So, it's a very interesting race. Wayne, it just is. This is going to be an exciting race. And what are the teams going to do at the deadline? The deadline's going to come up. The trade deadline, somebody's going to make a move. We all know Alex Anthopoulos is going to make a move. He revamped the entire outfield when Acuna got hurt last year at the break, and they won the World Series because of it.
Yeah, I don't think Atlanta's going to be affected by many trades. I think some of the teams that are on top are going to try to pull an Atlanta-esque move and try to, position themselves for a better postseason. But I'm anxious to see what Texas can continue to do after the All-Star break.
Well, your Rangers split with my Tigers here.
Yeah.
For 4, Detroit lost the first 2. They looked awful. They won the next 2. They brought up Riley Green, who plays center field for Detroit. He looks like he's going to be there for a while. I know it's early. He's only played, 6 ball games with a ball club, but he's doing well for the Tigers. And his friend Spencer Torkelson is at first base, and he's really struggled this year. Since Riley's came back, it seems to have helped Torkelson's game for the Tigers. But Texas is they're in second in the West.
Right. Well, They're like 9 games back right now, so that's the AL West. But what do you think about the Milwaukee Brewers pushing up against St. Louis like they are right now? I was kind of surprised by that.
Oh, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, Craig Counsell in Milwaukee I think he's one of the best managers in the game. I love how he handles his ball club. He's just really spectacular. In St. Louis, they're just in it every
Yep.
year. They're not one of the teams. They don't spend. I mean, they're probably in the middle to upper end spending in terms of payroll. But the Cardinals, they just seem to churn out talent every year, even if they lose somebody, a big name to free agency, and they lost Albert Pujols. They just go ahead and pick somebody else up and keep on going. I compare the Braves to the Cardinals the last 30 years. Atlanta's really been successful since the 91 season. They've had some bad seasons there in the mid 2000s or so where they went through, I hate the word rebuild, but they went through it for a couple of years and then they turned it around very quickly under Brian Snicker. When they had Gonzalez as manager, they replaced him. They replaced him, and Snickers just came in and done really well. But the talent is there, and I think the manager is a guy in baseball where can he make a difference 1 or 2 games down the stretch? Maybe. They just basically they handle the clubhouse. They're psychologists to the players. It's up to the players to pitch, catch, throw, and hit. And usually the best players on the best teams, whoever the manager is, they're the ones that win. I do think a manager can make a difference. I think what Buck Showalter has done this year for the Mets, turn around that clubhouse, is tremendous, but they've also improved their roster greatly. I mean, you brought in a Max Scherzer, for goodness sakes. I mean, even though he hasn't played a lot, he only had 8 starts between them, between Scherzer and DeGrom. So, Showalter's done a great job. Wherever he's gone, he's won a lot of games. And maybe this is the year where he gets over the hump and they win it. We'll see. It's such a long season. I mean, Texas is in second place in the West, Wayne, and they're not too far out from the wild card. They're ways out from first place. The division's down.
Yeah. Well, I think Texas and Toronto both are a little bit far behind. It's both in second place to get any type of wild card consideration right now.
No, I mean, they're not that far. I mean,
it's 9 games, and when you're up against Houston, can be a lot because you don't expect for Houston to go on a losing streak for sure.
Well, that's the division. They're closer than that, the wild card, and right now it's jumbled. We'll see as the season goes along, and we'll start spreading out like it did a year ago. But in the AL East, you've got 4 clubs that are going to contend, and the Central. We have 2 right now. The White Sox are having a down year. I still think they can turn it around. There's callings for Tony La Russa, which is ludicrous. But and then in Texas, I mean, right now they're in second place, sitting there. They turned it around. They brought in Seager from the Dodgers, and that seemed to help. And they made several other moves here in the offseason. So Texas has been quite a surprise, and we'll see if they continue to surprise in the American League. Maybe they'll make a move at the break. Let's go ahead and switch over from Major League Baseball to the Atlanta Falcons and the National Football League. And Wayne, when I see the Atlanta Falcons, they're a team in transition. That's probably a kind word. We're still waiting on the contract of linebacker Deion Jones, who is a trade candidate with over $13 million guaranteed. How Atlanta handles this situation will reverberate throughout the roster, because if they can get rid of them and trade them, then they can start filling in pieces before the season. If they can't, he's a good player. They're stuck with a contract, and it's going to be harder to potentially put other pieces in there. Deion Jones is a good player for Atlanta, but the Falcons are going through this what I call salary shift. And, are they going to trade him? Nobody knows, huh? I mean, no, they're going to try to, but nobody knows whether they'll be successful.
No, you know how I feel about the Falcons. I fully expect them to go 13-4 in a regular season.
I tell you what, I think 13-4. I'm coming to Memphis, and I'll send you. Well, you know what I'll do. As I don't know if I can get to Memphis. I'm sure I will. I've got family in Oklahoma. I almost stopped by your place when I went out for the tournament, the ACHA Nationals out in St. Louis. I went over and saw some family. And was Branson, Missouri area, Springfield.
Yeah.
And I almost saw you on the way home, but I didn't go that way. I could have, but it was a rat race that day to try to get back to the ATL. But since we're talking about the College World Series and Omaha Steaks, if the Falcons go, 13-4?
That's what I'm saying.
If they do that, I will send you a box of Omaha Steaks in the mail. I will do it. I'm a man of my word. I've already sent you the Falcons. So I'm a man of my word, right?
Yeah. Well, I should probably get you and JJ some University of Memphis baseball caps, and I'll probably get you the ones with the trucker style with the vented back, so that you can stay. Huh? You don't like the vented back, huh?
No, you see the ball cap I'm wearing now. Here I'm interviewing Patti Parks Rooney tonight, and I'm wearing an LSU hat. We're talking Ole Miss baseball. So when she sees the video, she's gonna go, "What a traitor!" Like, God, you know what? I lost my phone tonight. I can be personal while I'm on. I lost my damn phone down at the pool tonight, and it took me forever to find the damn thing. It got buried in the corner. It fell on the ground. It was in some grass by the pool, by the lounge chairs. I couldn't find it. I thought I dropped it in the water. I mean, geez, oh man, at 57, I'm losing my mind here. So I did find it, and I didn't have time to, I'm still in my white t-shirt and swim trunks as we do this gig. So, I'm wearing an LSU hat, and we're talking Ole Miss baseball. But anyway, transitioning back, you see what type of hat I am. I've got I'm an adjustable, just a plain Jane hat where, you know what? JJ's the one that likes to wear the box head hat. He's the one that had the ball player hat where they got the bill like this. Yeah. And no, that's not my style. That's his. But if you get like a cap like this from Memphis, surely I'll wear it. I've got a ton of hats.
Fantastic.
So,
all right. Well, we touched a little bit on Falcons. Do you want to mention anything about the Lightning being able to win one game? I'm surprised they won one game. I expected the Avalanche to just sweep them.
No way. No way. No way. No, I think this is still going 7 games. I mean, the Tampa is the 2-time defending champions. This club just knows how to win with Stamkos and company. They just know how to win. I mean, they really do. What is it, 2-1? They're playing now.
Yeah.
So I expect Tampa to win tonight, and it'll be a best of 3. And let's see. Tampa was down in the Toronto series. They won Game 7 in Toronto. Sorry about that. I know that broke your heart. You're a Leafs fan. Sorry about
my heart's been broken so much. I'm not sure it matters at this point with Toronto.
And then number 2, they beat the team with the best record in the NHL, the Florida Panthers. Yeah. Dusted them. What was it, 6 max? I can't remember. Then they're down to the New York Rangers. Was it 3 games? They were down 2-0. No, 2-0, excuse me. They were down 2-0 and won the next 4. So, the Avalanche on the other side of the tilt, that's who they're playing, obviously. Right. Colorado's a really proud club. They've had some heartbreakers the last couple of years. They finally got into the finals. Now, usually a club usually has to lose once before they win it. But, Tampa having the chance to three-peat. They went through the 2020 messed up COVID season. There was a shortened season a little bit in 2021. They won that with an extended playoff. They had an extended playoff in 2020. So, they've earned their keep. They're a proven veteran club that was built by former Red Wing great Stevie Yzerman, who's now in Detroit, and hopefully to build my wings back, which is going to take a few years. So, no, I expect a 7-game series, and I still have the Lightning winning it. The Ning dynasty, to me, wins 3 in a row. But, this Colorado club, I mean, they're the best team in the West, and they may win it all. I mean, they really may win it all. They've had some heartbreakers the last couple of years, and they fell short. They're loaded, and we'll find out. To me, the key to this series, obviously, is to stay out of the box. You got to stay out of the penalty box. You get yourself in 5-on-4, 5-on-3 penalty kill situations, it wears your club right out, and it puts stress on the goaltenders. And then if you get behind, that's even more wear and tear to try to come back and win the series. But you got to stay out of the box. The turnovers were atrocious for Tampa in game 1 and game 2. They really turned it over in the neutral zone, which led to 3-on-2s, 4-on-3s, 2-on-1 for Colorado, and they knew what to do. They knew what to do. Just put the puck in the net. These players are the best players in the world in the National Hockey League, and it just comes down to me: turnovers in the neutral zone, turning the puck over in your own end, and staying out of the box. And I still have Tampa winning this thing in 7. Long story short, you got the Avalanche to win it. How many games?
Well, I thought they were going to sweep. So, at this point, I don't think they're going to lose anymore. But the reason I expect them to sweep is because they had such a long break before they had to play the finals, being that they swept the team before that.
Wow, they swept Edmonton. They did. They swept Edmonton. But you know what, though? That side of the Western Ledger is not as tough as the East. The East, all 8 teams had 100 points this season, which is the first time that has ever happened in the National Hockey League season. But they all made the playoffs. But there is a kicker to that, and now they have points for an overtime loss. Where back in the day, you played overtime. It was 5 minutes. It was either tie. Each club got a 1 point for a tie or 2 points for a win. If you get an overtime loss, you still get a point, and the other team who won in overtime gets 2 points. I don't like that the NHL has done. I wish Gary Bettman, the commissioner and company, would change that. So we'll see if they do, but I highly don't. A lot of folks like the shootout. It's entertainment. Do you like the shootout, actually?
I kind of like the shootout.
Tell me why.
Because it's exciting and it's quicker.
It's exciting. I knew you were going to say it. Everybody else says it's quicker. Well, you know what? Here's what's quicker. You played a 4-minute overtime, 4-on-4, 4-on-4, or 5. I want to play a 5-minute overtime like you back in the day, 5-on-5. You're done after 5 minutes, so how's it quicker? You don't go to the shootout. It ends up being a tie. How's that quicker?
Well, the whole thing's negated by commercials anyway.
Oh, that's hysterical, but you're right. All right, Wayne, it's been a great show. I probably took too long rambling, but I've had fun tonight. It's been a while since I've been on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say just want to say that, hopefully all 3 of us will come on next week and we'll talk, and we'll have some other guests. We'll see how that works out.
Right.
We got past last minute, so we'll definitely get some more guests, and we'll hopefully we'll get some more shows in where all 3 of us are actually together. It's been my fault, I had surgery and etc. So I'm just glad to be back, even though I came out of the pool.
All right.
Tell us again where you can get all Tell us before we go how you can listen and all that jazz.
Well, first of all, we got YouTube, which is going to be the video, and make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps the algorithm and helps our channel. But there's also Spotify, which is for people who are on the go. Maybe you're driving in your car, or maybe you're mowing the lawn, or you can listen to the show there too. And all those links will be in the description below. So make sure you like and follow and check us out.
That's right. Check us out on Twitter too. Right?
Yeah.
Twitter. You can catch it on ATL Prime Sports. You can catch it either at myself at Corder Todd, you at RWY Jr., and JJ at JJ Get You One. So, and also while we're promoting, we should also promote the Flow channel with Stephanie Stallworth, who does the traffic here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
She has some sports features and things like that, and we want to promote that as well. Hey, Wayne, I had a great time. Sorry I took too long tonight.
Well,
I was an absolute mess before I came.
Well, I'm glad you made it, man.
Oh, you probably wonder where the hell I was.
All right. Well, I guess that's the show there. If you want to tell everybody bye, and we'll see them next time.
Hey, it's been a great. Everyone enjoy it. Have a great week. Enjoy the College World Series. Enjoy whoever your Major League Baseball team is, and enjoy the NHL Finals, because it is, in my opinion, humble opinion, the hardest championship to win in sports is the Stanley Cup. Have a great week, everybody.